Web3 is currently overtaking the internet space, and this is inevitable. In fact, this is 2025. I don't think this should even be a topic of debate. Web1 came, we all participated. Web2 came, we are still participating, and we're now on a smooth transitioning into Web3. Just as we have social media platforms on Web2 like your Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and the likes, we also have social media platforms on Web3. And social media platforms on Web3 is currently overtaking social media platforms on Web2, even though as at now, it is not noticeable yet. Why? Because we are still in the early stages of Web3. The reason why social media platforms on Web3 will eventually overtake Web2 is because there are some basic issues that social media platforms on Web2 developed that only Web3 can correct. And if social media platforms on Web2 want to stay long-term in this game, they will all eventually have to switch up into Web3. And that is what we are going to be discussing in today's video. And we're currently on a 30-day journey of diving into the world of Web3. In my previous videos, I've already defined what Web3 is all about: blockchain technology, decentralized finance, gaming in Web3, and a whole lot others. So if you are watching this video on YouTube right now, check the playlist that this video is attached to. The link should be up on your screen here, so you can watch my previous videos where we talked about these things, and then you can now join us here where we now talk about Web3 and social media. To get a clearer picture of what social media on Web3 are, let us first understand what social media on Web2 is and its limitation. Now, when we talk of social media platforms on Web2, the major issue they have is that your data is in the hand of a centralized authority. This your data, it is yours quite all right, but they own it, they control it, and they even sell it to make money. When it comes to Web3, your data is decentralized, user-owned. That is to say, you own your own data and it is transparent. So it is not in the hands of any particular centralized authority that will now have access to sell your data here and there. No. Since Web3 operates on blockchain technology, your data is recorded on the blockchain, and as such, no individual or no centralized authority has access to it aside from you. And you can do as you will with this, your data. When we talk of Web3, you don't have to do the normal registrations that you do. For instance, if you want to register on a platform like Facebook, you have to provide them your phone number or your email address. You provide them your name, you provide them your first name, second name, middle name, and blah, blah, blah. Sometimes they even have access to your family information. There are places where you connect people that are linked to you, your family, your friends, and this. So they basically have a whole lot of information about you. But when we come to Web3, you don't actually have to provide them this information. In fact, all you basically have to own is a decentralized wallet, and you can use this your wallet to log in on any of the social media platforms on Web3. And as such, you are safe and you remain anonymous. Here are some key features of Web3. The first one is censorship resistance. And by that, it simply means you could put out any information you want to put out without the fear of being censored. There was a time when Facebook, for instance, if you say anything concerning Donald Trump, your video would get taken down or it will not get views. YouTube even did it. So they are censoring such information. In fact, there are some type of information that you come out to say today. There are some type of things you come out to say against the government, and your video will get taken down simply because these platforms are being controlled by a centralized authority. And as such, they have control over what comes out and what remains on this platform. But when we talk of Web3, it is free or resistant to censorship, in the sense that if you put out any information, there is no centralized authority that can come and take it down, except you yourself decide to take it down. The second key feature is monetization. While on traditional Web2 platforms, they monetize your data and make money off it, and then they decide the amount to give you if you yourself become a content creator. On Web2, for instance, for you to make money from Facebook, you have to be a content creator on Facebook, putting out some amount of content here and there and the likes before they will actually pay you, despite the fact that your data is in their hands. When it comes to Web3, you can decide to sell this your data by yourself without them needing to pay you. The third key feature is ownership of data, and you should know what that means already. It simply means you own your own data. It is in your hands. All control and the power of it is in your hands, since it is on the blockchain technology. The third one is interoperability between apps, and by this, it simply means you don't have to do multiple registrations. Let's say, for instance, you have an account on Facebook. If you want to register on TikTok, for instance, you have to start afresh, providing them your phone number, your email address, your house address, whatever, blah, blah, blah. If you want to register on Instagram, you have to do the same. But when it comes to Web3, it is interoperable in the sense that you just need to have a wallet address. Let me give you a clear example. For those of you that have a wallet address on Trust Wallet and they give you your seed phrase, you can take this your seed phrase and import it on MetaMask and it's going to work. You can import it on Phantom Wallet, it's going to work. You can import it on Sui Wallet, it is going to work. So regardless, you don't have to start registering or start creating multiple wallets. It works regardless of the apps as long as it is on the Web3 space. Facebook even tried to do something similar, but they could not get it. For instance, if you have an account on Facebook, you can use that same account to get an account on Instagram without needing to provide them your details afresh, but it is still not as perfect and free as what we have on the Web3 space. Even as at now that we are still in the early ages of Web3, there are still some social media platforms on Web3 that are currently available to the general public. Number one is Lens Protocol, Farcaster, Mastodon, and DeSo. These platforms are social media platforms and they're on the Web3 space. You can go and make further research on it to understand how it works. Meanwhile, there are still some issues that social media platforms on Web3 is facing. And the first one is user adoption. Web3 can be a bit complex to understand, especially as it is still in the early stages. So onboarding people on the Web3 space is a bit complex. In fact, some people that watch my video now will think I'm uttering gibberish or they will not understand this concept because it's a bit complicated. Just because we are still in the early stages, even though everybody is going to get on it, but onboarding people in this space can be extremely difficult. And even those that are onboarded are still finding it difficult to get their way around. Like imagine interacting with blockchain, getting wallets, this and that. So it's a bit complex. But as the time goes on, everybody will eventually get used to it. And with that, we've come to the end of today's video on Web3 social media platforms. Make sure you drop a comment. I want to hear your thoughts. What do you think about this? Do you think it will eventually take over? How many years do you think it will take for Web3 to eventually take over the internet space? And make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Turn on the bell icon so you get notifications whenever we upload a new video.